They told me that the classics never go out of style, but they do. They do. Somehow, baby. I just never thought that we do too. Hi, I'm Zach, Soulcatcher Simp. Normally, I talk about fantasy books, but today we're going to go over my favorite classic books. My top 10 classic books. These books have completely changed me, they shaped me. Some of the best books on the planet. I'm going to briefly talk about each one and try to succinctly express why I think that they're so beautiful, why they're the best of the best. Now, I think that the term classic is pretty nebulous. Outside of academic circles, it's like extremely vague. I'm sure that some of these books don't, ordinarily qualify strictly in some sort of classic understanding. I think they're all classics. I think you can tell when you're reading a classic. It's fucking old. I think you can tell when a book is a classic. So hopefully you find some good books here that you haven't read before, or maybe we have a lot of the same shared tastes. Classic books have stood the test of time. What they have to reveal to us, what they have to teach us, what we can learn from them is incalculable, is immeasurable, unquantifiable. Classic books are classics because the themes, the characters, the stories, the prose, that stuff is eternal within them. Uh, they really captured something integral, essential to the human condition, to the human existence of which we are all playing a part within. Okay, starting at number 10 is Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor. I'm a huge fan of Southern Gothic literature. I live in the South. Well, I live south of the South. I live in Florida, which is still technically the South, but not truly the heart of it. Florida's crazy. We're our own thing at this point. But I love Southern Gothic literature. I love Savannah is one of my favorite places to visit. In fact, I made I made my ex and I tracked down where Flannery O'Connor was born in Savannah, and I read the first chapter of this on her doorstep. And it's one of the nerdiest things I've ever done, but I love this author so much. Wise Blood is one of the most disturbing books that I've ever read. The Christian philosophy, the Christian poetics expressed by Flannery O'Connor within this book are enough to give you nightmares. Nightmares of heaven and hell, of eternal damnation, nightmares of moral nihilism, nightmares of all spiritual kinds. I think that Wise Blood is a beautiful book, and it's one that has haunted me ever since I first read it. And Flannery O'Connor is an author who means a lot to me. She's one of my five favorite authors, probably. I think that the grotesque is alive and well in her stories, especially a story like Wise Blood. She's most known for her short stories, but Wise Blood was her debut novel, and I think she was an absolute master, a master of the craft. So, number 10, Wise Blood. Number 9, Franz Kafka, The Trial. This book is really good. This book I read when I was probably my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and it totally shaped the way that I view systems and how I view myself so insignificantly, absurdly within it. I think that this book is gorgeous. Kafka is amazing. Kafka was probably one of my favorite authors when I was a lot younger. As I've matured or as I've devolved, depends on who you ask, uh, Kafka's work has kind of meant less and less to me. But I think The Trial is a really special book. I think that it is it's absurd, it's morbidly funny, and it's terrifyingly claustrophobic. It's one of the most paranoid books I've ever read, and you feel like you're having a paranoia attack and a panic attack while you're reading the book, which maybe I'm not selling it too well, but maybe you want a literary panic attack because that's what the trial is, and I think it's gorgeous. Yeah, even though Kafka doesn't mean as much to me now as he used to, I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for Kafka. You know, like if you're on like a Bookstagram and all those places, I can't go a single day without seeing some Kafka quote, romanticized. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll like it. Kafka is great. Kafka is great. Um, I guess maybe I just don't feel as alienated anymore, or at least not alienated by the same sorts of systems of thought and of politics, and of the human experience that Kafka was when he wrote The Trial. But it's great. Number 9. Number 8, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Without getting too personal, I can just say I have bipolar type 1 disorder. I normally have one bad episode a year, and normally that ends up getting me admitted into a mental hospital for a week. So it's kind of been tradition that when I get out, I reread The Bell Jar, and I reread Ariel, her book of poetry. I think The Bell Jar is gorgeous. I think that Sylvia Plath, dude, her and like F. Scott Fitzgerald, when it comes to the English language, man, they knew how to shape their words. They knew how to shape their statements to where they punch you so hard. I listen to the old brag of my heart. I am. Like, oh God. And it's just full of absolute poetry. Like you can really feel the poet when you read this book, and the fact that it's so disturbed and so relatable. If you are of a certain kind of like, then I, it will never leave my yearly rotation. I love this book so much. And I'm fucking okay, is this a tangent? Are we going to do a tangent? Let's do a tangent. Let's do a fun tangent. Classics are often products of their time. So when I see people my age or younger reviewing some of these books, right? I kind of want to tear my hair out, right? I've seen a few women review The Bell Jar within the last 5 years and just complain, and bitch about like the racism inherent in here, as if you have to agree with every author about everything, that you have to agree with every character about everything. And clearly The Bell Jar is about a character who is severely mentally unwell, and guess what, it was written by an author who was even more severely unhealthy. Okay, do you expect her to have the healthiest worldview? Do you? Do you honestly expect her to have the healthiest worldview? Like I just said, I've spent time in mental hospitals. You know who said the most racist fucking things I've ever heard? People who are in the throes of a nervous fucking breakdown. People who have lost their fucking mind say the most racist things you've ever heard. Their worldview has completely been hijacked by their mental illness. You know, like it's like you guys forget that you're reading The Bell Jar and you're expecting everything here to be PC and A-OK and totally healthy and not kind of damaging to read yourself. Like, come on, man. Let's not sanitize every fucking book in the world. And I'm sorry, but like white girls at this time period, yeah, they all had their racist beliefs as well, you know? And I think that like the racism here is incredible. Not praising the racism, but I am kind of marveling a little bit at how casual it is in The Bell Jar. And that should really like speak volumes about just how detached, disassociated, dispossessed Esther Greenwood, Sylvia Plath's main character here, was from her reality, from her shared reality. Everything is so casual. The racism is casual. The bitchiness is casual. The economics are casual. Her suicides, her suicide attempts are casual. Like, it should disturb you. Like, good, I'm glad. You should be disturbed. You should be disturbed by the way she interacts with men. You should be hella disturbed by the way that men interact with her. I think I'm coming off of my tangent, but this could be that same grievance that I have with like this modern fucking lampooning, skewering of classic literature, especially classic literature written by mentally unhealthy people, uh, can be transferred to many titles on my top 10. Like, get fucked. Get fucked. Like you complaining or rage quitting reading the Bell Jar because there are some racist and sexist things within it, that I'm like, then you don't have the emotional maturity to handle people with manic depression, to handle people with bipolar disorder, to handle people who are on the verge of a nervous breakdown. You don't have like the mental maturity to actually face that head on. Then if that's all you value, if all you value is sanitization, stay the fuck away from Sylvia Plath. Glad you never read Ariel. That would have sent you screaming running down the street. Okay, we're finally done. Listen, Sylvia Plath, I love her so much. I will always stay true to the 14-year-old depressed emo girl that resides in my heart, my black heart. What number were we on, dude? I just put this list together, right, a few minutes ago. So I should also say that my top 10, it could change, but I don't see it changing like that much. Maybe just the positions, right? Like these books, none of them I read recently. So like these have all been like long standing. I've been devoted for a long time to most of these books. Just like this one, number 7, The Sound and the Fury. Read this my first year of college. I have it in this collection. Once again, a Southern Gothic. I love Southern Gothics, and I guess I like a lot of stories that that investigate suicide. Quentin Compson's story in here, where he hyperfixate on the absurdo reductum of time itself as he's standing on a bridge about to kill himself. That part, just oh my god! I actually wrote like like a whole fucking really long analysis of that in college. So like it's always stayed with me because I spent so much time analyzing that. I don't want to talk too much about it. Honestly, it's supposed to be pretty quick. The Sound and the Fury, I think it's a devastating book. I think it's full of everything that I love about the Southern Gothic literary style. And yeah, it absolutely deserves to be here. I love The Sound and the Fury. Number 6, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I am a massive fan of Charles Dickens. And although I've read all of these for the first time a long time ago, Dickens is the most recent one that I've given such a large opportunity to. You know, I always wanted to get into Dickens, and a few years ago, I started exploring his entire catalog, and I love it. I love it so much. I think he's my favorite Victorian author that I've read personally. Eliot could compete, and maybe the Brontes, like the Triforce with all their power rings could beat Charles Dickens. But Great Expectations is such a beautiful book. You know, if you watch my channel, I'm interested in analyzing what women become in our minds, especially beautiful women, especially mean spirited women, especially the kinds of women that we adore for absolutely no good reason, especially women like Estella in this book. Estella is one of the greatest women in all of literature. I find her fascinating. She's riveting. She's absorbing. Like, I am drawn to her like a moth to an open flame. I think she has an enormous place in my heart. I love Estella. She's why this book is so high up there. And Miss Havisham too. Love her so fucking much. She's a perfect character. It's honestly just a perfect book. Great Expectations absolutely deserves to be on my top 10 at number 6. At number 5, Marcel Proust, In Search of Lost Time, Swann's Way. I think Swann's Way is a gorgeous book. I think it's life affirming, even though I think it's equal parts unbelievably lonely and extraordinarily romantic. I think that Proust is one of the finest writers that I've ever read. I think his prose is absolutely impeccable. Honestly, the way the man can describe like eating a dessert or drinking a tea, it's just this explosion in his mind. Like, It's one of the most like experiential books I've ever read. Like I feel like I'm there with him. It's just it's a beautiful experience. So yeah, Swan's Way by Marcel Proust. What is next? Number 4, a short story collection actually. Welcome back, Flannery O'Connor with A Good Man is Hard to Find, and other stories. So the title story, A Good Man is Hard to Find, is possibly one of the best things that's ever been written down by anybody. The Misfit. Oh my god! Like, dude, it's so haunting, and it's so unbelievably provocative, especially as a piece of Christian philosophy. It's damaging and life altering. And there's like every story in this book is almost just as fucking crazy, dude. The River, the second story. Wow. Wow, it's the most gothic fucking thing I've ever read. This is such a good slice of Southern Gothic literature. Flannery O'Connor at her best. She's a master of the short story more than anything else. Like, she's probably the greatest short story author that ever came out of America. I'm very comfortable asserting that. I will say that. And this book, oh my God, if you haven't read it, you owe it to yourself too. It's unbelievable. This fucking book. Oh my God, it owns my soul, bro. All of these stories are so good. Woo! Top 3, right? Top 3. Well, before we get into the top 3, let's do some honorable mentions because I had some difficulty whittling down the list to just these. Uh, let's have Dickens for an honorable mention. Our first honorable mention being the Old Curiosity Shop. I love this book. Not a lot of people talk about this book, but from what I understand, it was like Dickens's most popular book when Dickens himself was alive. I think that characters like Dick Swiveller are so much fun to read about. Dick Swiveller and the Marchioness, they're what make this book perfect. I do love Little Nell as well, like the lead character. Uh, and I do love all the social commentary that Dickens is providing within this very fun, very engaging, very entertaining, and very human story. I think the Old Curiosity Shop is very good, and I wish more people talked about it because there's, you know what, it's very charming. I think that this book just has buckets of charm. Another honorable mention, Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Dalloway. I love Virginia Woolf to death. I love all of my bipolar one sisters and mothers. This book is great, and it's really easy to get through. And maybe next year, maybe if I read it again, it has been a while, it will make it into my top 10. It's that good. The quality is enormous. I love this book. Virginia Woolf is really good. Another honorable mention is Norman Mailer, The Naked and the Dead. If your mind isn't completely overwhelmed and blown during the first, I don't know, 50 pages, then you need to check your pulse, man, because you might be dead. This book is great. It's one of the greatest books ever written about warfare. Norman Mailer, The Naked and the Dead, absolute honorable mention. Wuthering Heights, same with Mrs. Dalloway. Maybe next year, if I read it again, Wuthering Heights could make it into the top 10. It's unbelievably good. Emily Bronte, it was a beast. She was so good, and God, Heathcliff and Catherine. Oh Lord, dude. Oh Lord. I almost want to just sneak it into my top 10 now, but I will stay devoted, loyal to the top 10 I already created. And then the last honorable mention is The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. It's a tough book, but it's a book that could change your life. It didn't change mine, but it impacted it quite deeply for at least a year or two. But I say that it could change your life because Dostoevsky, in a book like The Brothers, this is the kind of stuff that change people forever. You can find 1,000 testimonials about this book just by a quick search. Like, there's no way you haven't heard of Dostoevsky. And I think this is easily his best material. Deserves an honorable mention. Now, top three. At number three, another Charles Dickens, David Copperfield. Oh my God, I love this book so much. I've read it twice, and the first time when I was in my early 20s, and the second time a year or two ago. I read it twice, and I love this book so much. But I think that I love books for reasons that aren't similar to a lot of people. I think I love this book mostly for the reasons that people criticize. Like, I agree with everyone else, right? The prose is good. I love the autobiographical qualities. We all get a kick out of Charles Dickens, David Copperfield, name initials reversed, CD, DC, whatever. We all get a kick out of that. I love Uriah Heep, one of the greatest villains in all of literature. I love Steerforth. He's great. But what I think is the best is Dora as his wife. And I find that that treatment is so heartbreaking, so full of want, and so understandably tragic. I think that the parts of this book that deal with Dora are the most interesting. I think the whole thing is beautiful. Like, that Steerforth stuff breaks my heart. Little Emily breaks my heart. Uriah Heep, unbelievably gripping and so easy to despise. I love Uriah Heep. So unique as a villain too. But it's Dora here. It's Dora and David, and most people would criticize Dora. If they're going to criticize anything, they're going to criticize the treatment of Dora within this book. Whereas I think there's so much hidden poetry within that character that breaks my heart into a million, an infinite amount of tiny pieces. David Copperfield, number three. You do feel like you've lived an entire existence, and yeah, it's long. It's a long book, but and this sounds cliche, so I'm only going to say it about this one long book. It doesn't feel that long. It doesn't. I found it quite easy to get through this book both times that I read it. Like, it's just delightful. It's a delightful read with practically every significant notch of the emotional spectrum is represented here in some form to some degree at some point. This book is everything, man. It's great. Number three, David Copperfield. Number two, do we have any noir fans in the chat? The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. Now, I don't even want to start talking about it because I don't think I'll ever stop. Just, oh my god, Carmen, Vivian, Marlowe himself. These are the archetypes that have shaped me so deeply. I went through a huge noir phase in my 20s at some point. I don't really remember exactly what age, but I was obsessed with Chandler and Hammett. I can't remember the name well. He wrote The Maltese Falcon, and also like more neo-noir, newer guys like James Ellroy, people like that. The guy who wrote the Last Good Kiss, that was another big noir one I was into. But Raymond Chandler, that's the only one who still occupies a huge part of my soul. And once again, if you watch my channel and see how I interact with characters like the lady from The Black Company or Lorne from Malazan, or my name's Soulcatcher Simp, or Soulcatcher as a character, I think I got a lot of that from being so deeply obsessed with hard-boiled literature. And The Big Sleep, I think, is one of the greatest books of all time. I think that what it says about women, what it says about men, what it says about criminality, what it says about morality is not comforting. I don't think it's safe. I don't even think it's mostly correct, but I do think it's absolutely life altering for me. And I do think it's absolutely poetic and absolutely worth investigating. I think that Raymond Chandler's prose is second to none within his genre. I think that his characters, I've said enormous quite a few times in this video, and that should speak to the enormity of classic literature when it's written at its best, and like the enormity of Carmen Sternwood, the enormity of Vivian Rutledge. Those two women, like, they're like Madonnas in my head, man. Like they, oh man, they really, they really shaped, twisted, and molded a lot of my sensibilities. I think that The Big Sleep is it's morally terrifying. I don't hesitate to call this one of the greatest books ever written, because it is challenging, because it is dark, because it is disagreeable, because it's relentless, because it's perfect. Number one. Oh, this has been my favorite classic book for a long time now. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers. This book makes me cry. This book makes me think about life in the most sensitive and tender and loneliest of ways. My life can be separated into two periods: before I read The Heart is a Lonely Hunter and after. And it's the greatest piece of Southern Gothic literature, and I also think it's the greatest piece of classic literature. I think that The Heart is a Lonely Hunter is one of the most beautiful books I've had the pleasure of experiencing. The characters are eternal. Uh, and to think that Carson was like 24 when she wrote it. Truly, truly gifted. Truly gifted. I like a lot of Carson's work. The Ballad of the Sad Cafe. It's another great one. Reflections in a Golden Eye. But The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. This is when I think of classic literature, this is like the first book I think of. When I think of, or like when I hear people talk about books that could change your life, classic books that you need to read, this is like the first one that comes to mind every single time. And when I think of a book that feels like so intimate, like the most intimate feeling book in the world, it's The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. I'm I'm hopelessly devoted to this book. So yeah, number one, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. And that'll do it for top 10 classics. Uh, Hopefully I said something you liked, something that you valued or appreciated. Maybe you found a good title or two. I don't think that anything that I shared is even close to obscure or unknown. But I think all of these books are worth reading again and again. And it's always good to share classics. It's always good to share the books that you believe will continue to endure. And that's the thing. That's the kind of gothic thing about this, too. These books will outlive me, as they've outlived so many other people. And the books deserve that immortality of a sort. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.